Okay, next up, we have a special speaker who needs no introduction, and she has some companions. When I first asked her colleagues to come speak at FinTech Talk, the obvious question that was raised, not by her, but by some of my colleagues, as to what does an Olympian have to do with FinTech? And I said, well, that's a good question. But startup success, FinTech success, or any success, and sport success or Olympic success both involve one common thing, which is hard work. And I said, if you can tie that together, because we're in the startup incubation business, and a lot of startups come to us and say they have the brightest idea. And sometimes we say its idea is 1%, as the saying goes, and a lot of it is the 99%. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome on the stage Olympian, mother of triplets, coach of Walnut Creek Aquanuts, Tamara deClercq. Thank you. So you're mic'd. Is that okay? Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. And thank you for Patty for having me. This is a special treat for me. I haven't been able to do a talk in a while because I do work full-time also. But I have done synchronized swimming for over 30 years. I started, here, you guys, come on out. Come out from behind the podium. Stand right there. Right? No, right here, Perfect. So this is Patty's daughter, Arena. And are you guys on the same team? Mako. You guys just both swim for the Aquanuts? Yes? So I've been involved with the Aquanuts since 1988, and I've been a coach and an athlete throughout their organization from 6 and unders all the way to the national team level and Olympic level. But one of the great things about synchronized swimming is it's a team sport. So I'm going to ask these two. I did bring my medal and our costume. So I'm going to ask these two a couple of questions before we start, just for fun. And then they're going to take my medal around, because the reason I feel like I'm here is because I couldn't have gotten this medal without a lot of help and a lot of teamwork and a lot of support from the community. So I love to share this and share my vision and my opportunity and be able to share the medal with everyone who helps support me. But it was a team effort. I really couldn't have done it without a lot of support. So what is your favorite thing about synchronized swimming?
I like to go underwater and and do stuff with my legs.
She likes to hold her breath. That's awesome. Not very many people say that. How long can you hold your breath, you think?
Probably a minute.
Nice. Good stuff. And what's your favorite thing about synchronized swimming?
Basically everything.
Everything?
And watching.
And watching
it.
And watching it. So I'd like to start with, let's do a human survey. We got to get a little active in here anyway. So how many people know what synchronized swimming is? All right. How many people have seen it on TV? Nice. How many people have seen it in person? Okay, we got like 3. How many people have done synchronized swimming? Yes, 1. All right. So I want to start with a video of kind of what synchronized swimming is. Our 2004 Olympic team was part of a documentary series. They followed us around for about 2 years. This is one of the trailers, but it gives a really good indication of kind of what your day-to-day operations look like as a synchronized swimmer.
When the music, the look, athletic skill, and the choreography all come together, then you have what synchronized swimming really is.
do get razzed all the time from wearing tons of makeup. People always ask, what is that stuff you wear in your hair? It's basically non-flavored Jell-O. Like you see it on tarts.
Yes, it can be showy, so it's kind of hard for people to see it as a sport. We are athletes. It's very physically grueling. You know, I haven't touched the bottom of the pool in years. It's a 2-point penalty.
It's basically like running a mile and holding your breath for half of it.
And we're smiling because we're trying to make you think it's easy, but it's not easy.
For the Olympic team, we will be dropping 2 people from this squad.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Olympic team for 2004.
I just reassured myself, this is your dream. You're gonna go out there and do it.
It's an amazing experience to be in Athens, where it all began.
Our biggest competition is definitely Russia and Japan.
USA! It's gonna be a whirlwind.
We're all really excited to make this one a special, special swim.
So that's kind of what the day-to-day looks like. You have white stuff on your face. You're at the pool from 6 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. And maybe right now that might seem a little far off from what Patty was saying. What is this girl doing standing up here? But it's the same thing as what you guys are doing in the office every day. You're trying to find that Kaizen. Kaizen is essentially your continuous improvement. You're always trying to improve. And that's what we did in the pool. And teamwork was one of the main sources of my drive. I wanted to make myself better for my team. I wanted to make myself better for the USA, and always looking forward and getting that Kaizen, that continuous improvement. And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. So you get to the pool and you swim 10,000 yards, and then you jump in on the other pool, and then you practice a routine until lunch. And if it's not right, it's not right. You just keep going. You get out and you eat a little bit something, you throw some more sunscreen on, you jump back in the pool, and you dig at it again. And then at night, you're not done yet, because you got to make 8 people synchronize in every move, over 8,000 moves. And it takes time. It takes practice. It takes repetition. It takes, failure and mistakes and getting over those obstacles. So I wanted them to show you one of the ways we make that practice, that perfect practice perfect, is on land. We call it land drill. They do land drill. It's dry land. So you basically practice your routine with counts and no music in order to get synchronized. So they're gonna show you what land drill looks like, and then I'm gonna have them go around and pass around my medal so you guys can see it. You want me to give you a count? 5, 6, 7, 8? Synchronized swimmers only count to 8 too. So it was hard when I had to go to the business industry. Oh, I got to count more than 8? All right, round of applause. It's awesome. All right, you guys want to take you have a medal too. You can show, and you guys can take my medal around so everybody can see it. So one of the things the sport taught me is precision, right? You got to be precise, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice. The other thing is creativity. It's not just who gets to the other side of the pool faster, or who's the most competitive. You have to work as a team in order to find the most creative routine and the most technically precise routine. So how does that transfer into your world, what you do today? So one of the things I did after I was done swimming is I coached. So it gave me good perspective. I actually coached when I was swimming too. It gives you a really good perspective of what you need to do, what you have to do to be successful as an athlete, and as a coach. So after I was done swimming, I had put off my college career. I went back to college. I finished college. Now what am I going to do with my life? You know, I don't feel like I have any expertise. I didn't get an engineering degree. So what am I going to do? So I ran into somebody who what he called was a recovering banker. And he was starting a small business lending company through the U.S. Small Business Administration. And he wanted to do small loans between $5,000 and $25,000. So many people in the industry, including his banker friends, said, not doable, can't do it. No, we're gonna build our technology platform. No, can't do it. We're gonna credit score. No, can't do it. The U.S. Small Business Administration was like, I don't know what these guys are doing over here. But he was bound and determined to create this incubator loan program. And we started the company in 2006. I was one of 3 employees at that company. And in 2009, we were the #1 SBA lender by number of loans, not dollar amount, obviously, because our loans were $25,000 and under. In 2010, we launched a program with Sam's Club, and that program entailed their small business borrowers. Is a really great program. We had planned to do kiosks in Sam's Club. We had an online platform. They pre-qualified online. You're either pre-qualified or not pre-qualified. And then we would contact them. We were back packaging the loan, getting the Small Business Administration guarantee, and then funding it. All of this was based on a platform that we had built that looked over 300 different factors. So as we built that company, I used what I learned in the pool every single day. And I still use it every single day. Our company was sold last year. So now we're kind of starting all over again. Our new owners want to do equipment and heavy equipment and machinery funding. So now we're sort of starting again from square one and finding that Kaizen and that continuous improvement. But teamwork, you got to work together. No matter if you're working within your team, your own organization, between the bank platform and the fintech platform, between your competitors, you got to find teamwork. You got to always be continuously striving to be better and be better together. So the creativity side of it. So that was one of the things for me. I was like, how am I going to sit behind a desk all day? What am I going to do? Oh my God, I can't do that. But it was the creativity and finding what everybody thought was going to be a good practice, the next practice, a best practice. But creating that as a team and creating that platform, what all of you fintech companies do, creating what's going to be the next practice and doing that, again, as a team, together as a team. And I think that, obviously, teamwork, but the dedication and creativity, all within that platform in everyday work. No matter what I'm dealing with, I have to understand where the perspective of whoever I'm working with is coming from, whether that's inside or outside my organization. But before I go too much into the business side of it, I did want to show you the kind of culmination of our career. So from the Aquanuts you just saw standing here, I started probably a couple of years before that stage. I definitely couldn't land roll like that when I was 6, but I could count to 8. So I wanted to show our Olympic routine in Athens in 2004 that provided us with a bronze medal.
Facing tough times ahead.
So we created this routine.
As they set up for this first lift.
With our
They've
coach.
got 8 of these different types of
The
lifts
Sorcerer's
throughout the
Apprentice.
entire routine. It adds to a
lot
lot
of you know
of
from
risk.
Disney.
And talking about risk, wait till you see this next lift. If the spacing's not perfect, one person could actually fall on the other.
Oh, look at that.
And the spacing was perfect, so that
One of
was
our
great.
signature
And
moves.
here is one of their most difficult lifts here. She's got to be perfectly tight and balanced. It was just a little bit wobbly, but that just shows you how hard that is.
U.S. swimming to Sorcerer's Apprentice.
You know, Don, they got gold in Atlanta, but were shut out in Sydney. So any medal will be meaningful. I think Chris Carver does a fabulous job with the choreography. Beautiful. That is their fourth lift so far. They have so much in this routine. One thing that makes this so hard is this routine moves so fast. There are so many pattern changes. Watch how many. There's about 8 just right in this small section. Beautiful spacing and all those pattern
routine's
changes.
about
Great
4 minutes,
execution
and
on those
we hold our breath
leg movements, the hybrid.
about 75% of that time.
Beautifully executed. They're having a great swim so far.
And we're only halfway through.
Extremely creative peel-off section. They've got about 8 peel-offs going here. And that is so hard to set up. It's kind of like an iron cross. And 2 more lifts. If the timing on those lifts weren't perfect, they would have landed right on top of each other.
I know, it sounds scary, right? That's why we practice so much.
That's sort of like a spider. Interpretation is excellent here. Beautiful. Adding
about
more
this time,
difficulty
I
here with
couldn't
this
really feel my
underwater
legs.
hybrid. Nice spin. A few of them actually submerged a little bit earlier. This they call the eagle. They've just got to make it through 2 more lifts, Don. Nicely done. They've probably got the hardest ending of anybody here at this competition. And that is so hard to sustain that swimmer out of the water for so long.
Well done.
I'm sure they gave it everything they've got. That was an excellent swim. No major flaws. Extremely hard routine.
So this is one of our signature lifts. That's me up on
And
top.
this was their
and I got put up
riskiest
there a
because
lot
she could have
because
actually-
I just said, let's do it. Hey, can you flip around like 5 times and smack down as hard as you can? Yeah, let's try it. Let's do it. Because I knew that kind of attitude, the positive can-do attitude, was the only attitude that was going to work. We had been on the podium one time before this at Worlds, and we looked at our competition. Russia had been the top since 1997. What do they do great? They have an amazing choreographer. Their choreography is brilliant. It's a lot like Russian dance, and they're very dynamic. Their routines have a lot of pattern changes. So we tried to model and create our routine to have those the things that we thought Russia was great at. Second place, Japan. They were always second place. Precision. They were all about precision. They are perfect. They aren't the highest. They aren't the most exciting routine. They aren't the fastest routine, but they're precise. So how are we going to make our routine dynamic and precise? How are we going to do that? Because only looking at our competitors, those 3 things we had to do. We knew we had to be better at those in order to beat Russia and Japan. What about those people behind us? You can't forget about them. Spain was right there chomping on our bit. Canada, we are always back and forth with Canada. And what are they doing? What are they going to do? What does it look like? What does their routines look like? What do they do well that we can take? And this is another aspect that I take every day with me in my working career. What are other people doing around us that's exciting, that's new, that's working, that's making compliance easier, that's making banking easier? And how are we going to do that, and how can we make it better? So when we went out to establish this routine, we looked at film. We looked at what is everybody else doing around us, and how can we do it better? Let's do this, but do it better. And if we can't do it better, we're sure as heck going to try. And that's one of the only reasons we are on the podium, is because we shot ourselves out there. I don't know if we can do it. If we have that kind of attitude, we're never going to be able to make it. I don't know about this. All right, well, if we're going to fail, we're going to fail. We're going to fail doing it together. But let's just try. We got to at least try to get there. And I use that every day. You know, how are we going to make it better? How can we get it better? How we can more efficient, faster, more compliant? How do we look at specifics within our industry, and what are other people doing, and how can we adopt that, or how can we change what they're doing to make it even better? Vulnerability is another thing. I put myself out there all the time, not just on top of lifts. I trusted my team. I knew that they were going to push me. I knew that they were going to get me up there. I knew that they were going to work together to do everything they can to make it. But also putting myself in a place that I know I might get hurt. I know I might get injured. I know I might not be able to do it, but we're still going to try. And vulnerability with your team component too. Sometimes it's really hard to be like, I don't know, boss. I don't know if that's the right idea. What about this? Have you thought about this? No, get out of here. Go sit down. Just like the shutting down the ideas. You know, putting yourself out there and being vulnerable with your team. Coach, I don't know if we should do this. And our coach was really integral in that too. Having a leader or a boss that really allows you to do that is helpful for those leaders out there, that keeps your door open. I mean, so many times she said, I don't care what time it is. We're gonna stay in the pool until we get it right. And again, we had I feel like our whole team did, a positive attitude. That's right, we're going to stay in the pool because the only way we're going to get in the podium is if it's right. You got to get it right. So we're not closing our doors. We're ordering in dinner, and we're not closing our doors until it's right, until we have our process down, or have established our goals, or have gotten our pain points on our balance sheet worked out. But all of those things transfer and is integral in your everyday life. So I don't even just take that to work with me. I take that home. One of the things that really helped me, especially with the coaching, is, you're okay, is patience. You got to have a lot of patience. My triplets are 2 years old, so they test my patience a lot. But the same thing happens at work. Your patience are tested every single day by your auditors, by your boss, by, I need this yesterday, you know. So having the creativity, the teamwork, the patience, the can-do attitude, not just at work or at home or when you're by yourself or when you're in the car, but every day in every aspect that you do. I know that's really hard to say that, and I certainly can't do it, but I strive to do that. It's that same Kaizen attitude, that continuous improvement, always striving for continuous improvement, no matter what it is. And I think the Aquanuts are teaching girls like this and boys too. We have boys in the sport as well. Self-esteem and confidence, and being able to come up here and speak in front of an audience that you might not feel totally comfortable doing, but you're going to do it. You're going to strive for it. You're going to try and reach out there for the stars, and wherever you fall, you fall. But that hard work and determination and patience is key. And having the teamwork and the drive and the determination to get things done and to drive forward in innovation, whether you're on the banking side or on the innovation side, but finding that partnership and that teamwork in order to work together and strive together. So I wanted to play a little clip of the Aquanuts. This is, I think Irina put this together, right, for the Aquanuts. I believe she's up there. But this is kind of where the dream begins. But basically, you can, if you can dream, you can achieve through that determination and hard work and putting into practice those just everyday little things to create the whole and create the innovation and continuously drive forward your improvement. So I just want to say thank you to Patty. Maybe we'll show the Aquanut clip right now. Kind of where it all starts. So cute. And eventually they'll probably be working for one of your companies later today. But if you guys have any questions, comments?
Any questions for Coach Tammy?
Anybody need a private lesson? Anybody have any good toe points?
Highly encourage you to check out the Walnut Creek Aquanuts. That was a good small video there. They do great things. And as she was saying, a lot of young girls get a lot of confidence, self-esteem, and of course, great sport. Yeah. Yeah. Good. I'll just stand near you. I might.
So passion is very important, I guess. So how do people find their passions, or how do you get people towards their passion zones and keep them there?
That's a good question. I'd say I think like a personal engagement, because a lot of times passions don't happen at work, right? For synchronized swimming, yes. They should. You're right, right. So finding what that passion is for that individual, and I mean, I think that has a lot to do with coaching as well. You got to find what drives that person and what they're passionate about, and help them achieve those goals, not necessarily in work, but also outside of work. You know, in order to drive those passions at work, you got to help flourish them outside of work and allow them to integrate those passions outside of work at work, whether it's family or something they want to do or something they're striving for. But I think, engaging them and making them feel that that's important at the job too, what they're passionate about outside. That was a good question.
Right. Go ahead, Bob.
Just a little bit on how the team was put together and where the team, what's the composition of the team, where they come from?
So we came from all over, you know?
Well, we basically came from all over, and then we come, and then we just do some tests, and then we get into teams, and we it's split into age groups. And we compete against other cities or states.
So for the Olympic team, you first make a national team. The way you make a national team is there's in figure skating, there's figures, right? And you do a figure eight, and you get scored on it. It's kind of like that. It's figures, and you get ranked. And if you're in a certain ranking, then you make a national team trial. And then everybody that makes the national team trials learns the exact same routine, and then they compete against each other with that routine in order to make the team. And with our Olympic team, we actually were one of the first Olympic teams chosen. It was actually called an Olympic squad because there was 13 of us, and those 13 went down to 9. So, and through that whole time, we had Pan American Games and World Championships and World Cup. and you are still competing for your spot every day. Every day. There was only 4 people in the beginning that were on the team. They knew they were on the Olympic team. And the rest of us had to work towards that goal. So making ourselves better was also making the team better, but it helped us drive forward because we had to push ourselves personally. We could have got kicked off at any time, not really any time, but we had 4 or 5 different tryouts. But the team can come from anywhere. A lot of the team swims in Walnut Creek or Santa Clara. Those are the two biggest clubs in the country, in the world, actually. I would say between Moscow, Japan, Walnut Creek, and Santa Clara, those 4 clubs make up the majority of the elite synchronized swimmers in the world. Because a lot of people from the UK and Kazakhstan and Italy train at Walnut Creek or Santa Clara. A lot of our coaches coach teams from other countries and athletes from other countries to make them better. But that process took about 2.5 years. That last clip that you saw of the last 2 people, I was one of the last 2 people that made the team. And I was in a limbo a lot, and I think that can-do attitude helped me really be able to live in that environment where you don't know if you're going to have a job tomorrow or have a job after this day, December 2003. You don't know if you're gonna come into work tomorrow and be able to come into work tomorrow, but you had to believe that you're gonna have a job the next day. Otherwise, it wasn't gonna happen. You had to believe that you were doing everything you can to make yourself better, to make yourself higher and stronger and faster. The Olympic motto. You just have to dream it and live it and breathe it and know that you're doing everything you can to get there. Yeah.
So a question on team dynamics. There's a lot of you working together there, and so how do you maintain, effective, productive relationships?
So that's a good question. That's, with teamwork, you think of people just coming together as a team and like, you just have to work together. You're all best friends, You're not all best friends. You got to figure out, you're all there. First of all, you're all there for a common goal. And your goal is an Olympic gold medal or a world championship medal. But your goal is all the same. No matter if you're a stodgy banker or you're a fintech innovator, you're all on the same page and you're working for the same thing. Let's make it more productive. Let's make it better. Let's make it faster. Let's make it more compliant. Let's make it happen. And whether you see things the same way or not, you're still really on the same page, even if they're a completely different person, even though their passions are totally like, I don't have any kids. I have no idea what you're going through at home. You still have common goals. And that's one of the things that I think that makes teamwork so special. And I feel like our team did a really good job. Your coach pushes you to kind of pull yourself apart, especially in that time when you don't know if you're on the team or not. And this person's higher than you, and this person's faster than you, and you're never going to catch Russia. And if this person can't do it, none of us can do it, and really pulled us apart. But our team really understood our common goal and what we wanted to achieve. And the only way we're going to do that is to work together as a team. What do you say? What do you think teamwork is?
It's working together as a team and you help and think of ideas to make your team do well.
Awesome. What's the hardest thing about teamwork?
You have to listen to others. Yeah. And you have to agree.
Awesome answer. No, that's another good question.
Cool. Thank you, Coach Tammy.
Yeah.
We're out of time, actually.
Thank you, guys.